Hi there. Welcome to the Vintage Vagabond Vamp. My name's Diane and this is my YouTube channel and I hope you'll enjoy it. So why vintage? Well, because I'm 76 years old, not a spring chicken anymore. Vagabond, because I gave up my stick and bricks home for life on the road in my Dodge Grand Caravan. And Vamp, because, well, I still think I got it a little bit. You can decide for yourself. Well, I spent the last 2 years traveling. I met many people who really encouraged me. They told me they were inspired. Oh, sorry, there's the ferry going off. They told me they were inspired by the stories I told them, my adventures, and that they felt I should go on YouTube to share my stories, to share the tips, my trips, techniques for life on the road. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Although, quite frankly, there wasn't that much ugly at all. It was all pretty much good. So, there are many people who are forced to live in their vans or their cars, and it's really sad. It's a statement of where we are at in our times, isn't it? I made this a choice. I chose to give up my stick and bricks home for life on the road because I wanted to travel. But before I made that decision, there was a whole process involved in getting to this point. Firstly, my very first car camping trip on my own after my husband passed, I was absolutely terrified, but I really wanted to do it. I had a Honda Fit, so me and my dog Cleo, who is a Whippet Black Lab cross, and sadly she's gone now, so I'm totally on my own. We fixed up the van, laid down the seat, fixed up the Fit. We fixed up the Fit and laid the seats flat and was able to put a camping cot, that's what I'm trying to say, camping cot across it, and added some plastic drawers and a cooler and a one burner Coleman stove and a little little device to plug in my phone and charge it through the phone charger. So I didn't have a whole lot of stuff, but I had gone camping with my husband a lot, so I wasn't quite a newbie, but I was still very nervous about what was happening. So my first trip, I was scared silly. I got my Fit all set up, put some reflective material on the windows, and it was summer, so I had a little USB fan. Cleo laid on the bed through the daytime. She traveled there, and of course you can imagine at nighttime we had the fight. Yep, I had to tell her I was the boss. She had to sleep elsewhere, and I got the bed. She reluctantly and begrudgingly agreed with me. Well, she didn't agree with me. She had no choice, let's face it. Anyways, Cleo and I take off. We go. I gotta tell you, don't take off on a camping trip on a long weekend in the middle of summer because you might be in for a surprise. I sure was. I got across to the mainland, took a late afternoon ferry because the ferries, of course, were delayed due to the heavy traffic. Got across on the mainland and I started looking for a place to stop. I didn't know about boondocking. I knew nothing. I just, for some reason, I was just taken off and didn't do a whole lot of planning. Maybe it speaks to the state I was in. As I said, taking off, my husband had passed. I was nervous. But I knew I could do this. So I'm driving on the lower mainland and I'm looking for a place to stay. There was a huge event someplace. All the parks were taken up. I finally found a campground. Oops, there goes the float planes. When you live in beautiful Nanaimo, BC, well, I live here. This is my home base. You get the ferry sounding their horns and the float planes flying overhead. So it can be a little noisy. So where was I? Okay, so I'm driving in the dark. I finally find this campground. I pulled in and the office was closed. Okay, fine. I find a spot, and Cleo and I had a cold supper, and I used the facilities, not the shower, just the bathroom, just, the facilities. And the next morning, I went to sleep, no problem. The next morning I wake up and nobody's stirring. I think I woke up really early, probably because I was nervous about camping. And I just woke up, nobody was stirring. The office was still closed. So it's like, what are you going to do, right? Of course, I did the right thing. I took off. I had every intentions of paying for my camping spot. But, what are you going to do? There's no one there to take my money. So I go off, I continue my trip to Mission, BC, where I was staying at my cousin's campground. And that's where I learned how to do the car camping more effectively. They asked me if I wanted to stay inside of the house. I said, no, I need to learn how to camp. So I did it. I had great fun. It was really wonderful. And but I got to tell you, when I got back to, let's backtrack a little bit. When I was on the road trying to find a campground, and I was really scared, it's like, what am I going to do? And I started saying to myself, I can do this. I can handle this. I can do this. I can deal with it. I will find something. I'm okay. And that mantra has carried me through many difficult situations where I was uncertain or scared or apprehensive. And you know what? I am woman. I am strong. You are woman. You are strong. You can do it. Just repeat after me. I can do it. I can handle it. I'll figure this out. And man, oh man, it's very empowering. Yeah, empowering. My trip was very empowering. It gave me confidence. So I started taking more trips in my Honda Fit. I went down to Arizona on one trip, and I went out to Ontario on another trip. And I'll tell you about these trips as as I go through things. But I just wanted to really encourage everyone out there, if you're nervous or afraid, don't be. A little common sense will get you through. And as I said, I'll certainly share what I've learned and how I kept myself safe. And although I had a dog to begin with, I don't have her now. My little my middle-sized fur baby has passed away. I miss her. I won't get another dog because traveling with an animal for me is not that easy. I know a lot of people do it, but it does create concerns about leaving your fur baby in a vehicle when it's hot or when it's very cold. If you're camping in campgrounds, some apparently don't let you have dogs there. And by the way, I should tell you too that on my travels, I very seldom use campgrounds. I did a couple times early or when I was maybe traveling with someone, but for the majority of the time I boondock or dry camp. That means I just find a place where there's no signs that say anything about you can't stay overnight, you can't camp here, and I stay there for the night. It could be a Walmart parking lot, it could be beside a beautiful lake in a mountain setting. They're out there and I find them because I got apps that help me. So that's enough for my introduction. I do hope you come back and join me. And please, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. All right. Take care of you. Bye.